Hi guys, my name is Kristen Allen and I work for the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. I'm excited to tell you about some really cool art that's coming to the museum in October of 2020. So if you've never been to the Dixon before, it is a really cool place. It's an art museum, but we also have 17 acres of beautiful plants, flowers, and trees outside in our gardens. So I hope you'll go for yourself and see just how beautiful it really is. But inside the museum, the art is always changing. It doesn't stay the same. So if you go visit the Dixon in January and then you go back in October, you're going to see new art hanging on the walls that you've never seen before and have a totally new experience. That's because we put together 3 or 4 exhibitions every single year. An exhibition is just another word for an art show. And when you come to visit the Dixon and see one of our exhibitions, that's art that's never been showcased there before. It's art that comes from all over the world. Sometimes it's really old, sometimes it's really new, but it's art that has been borrowed for that specific exhibition. So when we borrow art, sometimes we borrow it from museums, other times it's from artists or art collectors, but we don't keep the artwork forever. We usually just have it 3 or 4 months and then we get a new exhibition in. So on October 11th of 2020, we'll have a brand new exhibition opening called Illuminating the Word, the St. John's Bible. So I hope you'll hang out with me for a little bit. We're going to learn some more about that exhibition and then create an art project that's inspired by it. So today we'll get to learn something new and make something together. So an illuminated manuscript is a really old way of making books. It is a handwritten book, but it also has beautiful decorations and pictures, and the oldest ones were made over 3,000 years ago. So today, when a book is made, we use printing presses to create copies. So someone just types the words in a computer, an artist will draw something and scan it in, and they only have to make one copy, and then from that they can make thousands of versions. But before those machines existed, each book was one of a kind, so that made them very valuable. And that meant that every single word in a book had to be handwritten by someone, and every picture had to be illustrated by an artist. So most of the illuminated manuscripts were religious texts. They were really long books, so it took a lot of work by a whole team of people to make each one. Calligraphers were the ones who wrote the words in the book, so they knew how to keep the letters looking really beautiful and neat, and sometimes they'd even decorate their letters to add to the appeal of the book. A team of artists would draw illustrations to go along with the words, and their job was to tell the story through pictures. So, in the Middle Ages, when illuminated manuscripts were most popular, not a lot of people could read, so the pictures were really important to help them understand the story. Artists would often even use silver and gold to show just how valuable the books were. And then finally, a team of bookbinders would glue all the pages together and make a cover for the book. So sometimes they would even use precious materials like gems or ivory, again, just to show the value of the illuminated manuscript. It took a lot of people a lot of time to make each illuminated manuscript. So on October 11th, a book inspired by the process of creating those illuminated manuscripts is coming to the Dixon Gallery and Gardens. It's called the St. John's Bible. It wasn't made that long ago. It was finished just 9 years ago, but it took a team of artists, calligraphers, and historians almost 15 years to finish it. So to create the St. John's Bible, a team of historians studied the techniques from the traditional way of making an illuminated manuscript, and they helped plan the project. 23 artists, assistants, and calligraphers worked together to make it. So just like in the illuminated manuscripts we looked at earlier, each word is handwritten, and the paintings were created by artists. There are over 1,000 handwritten pages, and those were made with a quill from a feather. There are over 160 illustrations, and you can see that the artists sometimes use silver and gold in their artwork too. The St. John's Bible is one of a kind, just like illuminated manuscripts, and there's nothing else like it in the world. The St. John's Bible will be at the Dixon, and you can go and see it until January 10th, 2021. So I hope you'll get a chance to see it in person. But today, we're going to make a project inspired by illuminated manuscripts with a little twist. Today, we'll be making found poetry. Found poetry is when you take a piece of text that already exists and select certain words to create a poem with a new meaning. This project is really open to whatever supplies you have and want to use. You might use markers, paint, crayons, or you can even do this project digitally. You'll also need a piece of text for this project, so you can recycle an old book that's falling apart or get a newspaper, or you can print a page of literature online. So lots of old classic books are in the public domain now, and that just means that they're free online for you to print and read. The first thing you're going to do is skim through your text and circle any words that jump out to you. Now that you have your words circled, go back through and read your text again, this time looking for additional words that can help your poem make sense or have more of a theme. Circle those too. You might have to read your text 2 or 3 times before you get an idea for a poem, or you might not use all of the original words that you circled. But once you settle on a final poem, it's time to decide how you want those words to stand out and how you want the ones that you didn't use to fade into the background. There's really no right or wrong way to do this step. Some poets take the blackout approach, which literally means that they black out all the words they don't want. So you can do this using a permanent marker or black paint. But because I was inspired by those illuminated manuscripts, I wanted to take more of an illustrative approach for mine. So using a pencil, I'm just sketching out some different images that go along with the theme of the poem I created. I'm going to leave the words from my poem white while I color in everything else in the background. That way it kind of helps add to the overall illustration effect. I'm using markers, but again, you can use whatever supplies you want. Think about combining materials too. I decided to use some crayons for certain areas of the background and markers for my main illustration. Try to use the whole page. That includes the margins and the edges too. Whatever you color in will help your words stand out even more if that's the only white spot of your paper. And that's really all there is to this project. If you enjoy this process, you can get more text and create a whole book of poetry. Or if you're proud of what you made, you can use the hashtag #DixonAtHome or #DiscoverTheDixon to share it with us. I hope you enjoyed this project, and we hope you'll visit the Dixon Gallery on October 11th to see the St. John's Bible. Thanks for watching.